All right, BD family, let's dive right into it. Welcome to another edition of Webinar Wednesday. I am Jason there on the left. It's great to be with everyone here today. And we are lucky to be joined by David Rockland, the digital strategist here at Brilliant Directories. Dave, thanks for taking the time to join us today.
Absolutely. Glad to be back with everybody here for Webinar Wednesday 125. We've got a great tip of the week coming up, one that a lot of you have been asking for, actually. So, really excited to dive into that later on.
Awesome. Yeah, we do have a good tip of the week. It's actually different than the one we posted in the Facebook group. We thought this newer one would add more value this week. Speaking of the Facebook group, I do see many of us are already part of the BD Facebook group, but if you're not, it's a great way to keep in touch in between Webinar Wednesdays. You can head on over to brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook. It'll direct you right to our Facebook page and you can click on that blue join button. I'm in there myself. There's great discussions and conversations about how to grow your online community and how the software works. So we do invite everyone to join us there. And a bonus here for everyone, I'm gonna unmute your mic, Ryan, if that's okay. One of our partners from the marketplace and all-stars in the Facebook group, Ryan, has taken it upon himself to just add more value to the BD community. And you've put together this small after party for after the webinar, Ryan. Can you tell us a little bit about what this is? And we'll also share a link in the chat here for everyone.
Sure, great, thanks, Jason. Yeah, so appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, so it's just simple directory afterparty.com. What it's basically just going to be is just a free forum to meet people from the directory group here that they maybe haven't actually met before or talked from the community. And it's going to be audio and video. You can opt into whatever pieces of the fun party that you want, or opt out if you don't want to partake of that particular section. But there'll be a couple different things in there. There'll be some one-on-one group networking where you can just go and chat one-on-one with somebody from the group at random. And then we'll have some breakout tables where you can go join a particular table subject that you want to talk about, or make a subject that you want to talk about and have people join you. And then we'll have the good old group fee, I guess is what it's called, where everybody takes a nice fun shot for the evening, and everybody will get a photo of a little small montage of everybody that was there during the event. So it'll be a good time just of talking with people, introducing ourselves, and talking about the business or just anything that they want to talk about with the community.
Awesome. Thanks for putting this together, Ryan. I would encourage you guys to join this. Ryan always has great insights, and it's great to mingle, I guess is the right word, with fellow BD website owners. So it's directoryafterparty.com, and you can head on over there after the webinar. And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. Webinar Wednesdays are a great chance not only for us to connect here and with the community, but to also showcase some of the newer features that are built into the platform week after week. Now, there are lots of behind the scenes updates and things like that. So in the webinars, we try to focus on the updates that can help you grow your online community or manage your website a bit easier and a bit better. So we'll cover topics, things like how to increase traffic, some of the newer tools that can help you convert visitors into members, and one of my favorites, I know I always mention this one, but improving and simplifying the website's navigation and flow. So if you have questions on any of these topics or anything related to your membership or directory website, please save them and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can today. All right, and we have a good handful of BD Lab updates to share today. Zapier integrations are finally released, the phased 1 integrations. We'll cover that actually, spoiler alert, in today's tip of the week. But now you can send your BD data from your default forms, customized forms. Also, one of my personal favorites that we now support this, new signups. You can send that data into Zapier and then sync it with third parties like Salesforce, Mailchimp, Constant Contact, or any other CRM that you're using outside of BD. So we'll dive a little bit more into that later in the webinar. We've mentioned this as coming soon in the in previous webinars, the ability to customize the checkout page URL, and now accompanying this is the ability to customize the plan URL. So we're all familiar with the checkout pages. Those are the pages where new members sign up and register to your site. Up until now, it always had to be your domain /checkout / the ID number of the membership plan. You can now first change the / checkout. So there needs to be a slug there. We can change the checkout and we can change the plan URL. Also, shout out to Ryan. He was the one who kind of spearheaded our updates for this. Let me show you where these are and what we're referring to. So we have our webinar demo site here, and let's just go to a checkout page, the regular checkout page here. So we're all familiar with this. It's checkout 1 or checkout 2, checkout 3, checkout, and whatever the ID number is. So the first thing we can do is change this slug from checkout to maybe sign up or register, whatever language you want it to be, or if you do need to translate it into another language as well. That's pretty common with BD sites these days. So this will be in your advanced setting. And the quickest way to get there is just search for checkout URL in the filter here. And by default, it's checkout. Let's change this to register and save the changes. And we'll go back to the sign up page. I'm just going to swap out this word checkout for the word register. Okay, great. So now the checkout URLs are now going to just be register. So if you are going to change this, you might want to click around your site anywhere you have sign up links, make sure you update them accordingly just so there's no conflicts or data decay for those older URLs. Now, the next thing you can do now is the membership plan ID. It doesn't have to be a number anymore. It can be a word, it can be, basically text instead of an ID. So we're signing up for membership plan 1. Let's edit this. This will be in your membership plan settings. You'll do this on a per membership plan level. Let's actually edit the general user account. We'll do that one. So this one is currently register 5 /5. And let's change that to register / general user. We'll just call it what it is. So this is going to be in the first tab under the sign up page settings, sign up settings, towards the bottom, URL for this sign up page. So we can see by default here, it's /5, but we can make this something like general-user, and I'll go ahead and save the changes. And what's cool about this is I do believe it creates the redirect already. So if you have links around your site, they will be redirected. So this is register 5. I'm just going to refresh the page. And see, it says register / general user. I would still recommend going back to any live links you have on your site to these pages and just making sure it is linking directly to the correct page without having to rely on the redirect. But we can see now that you can fully customize the slug and the custom URL for a membership plan. So that should give you guys a little bit more granular control to create checkout links that might match your marketing or persona or voice a bit better for your brand. All right, let's keep things moving here. We did push another speed updates. These are trickling in through the rest of the year and ongoing. In this case, what we did is the Google security ReCaptcha, the thing that asks you the question, I am not a robot. That's a JavaScript that loads, it takes up page resources, but now it only loads when a user clicks into a form, because really that's only when it's required, not right away when the page is loaded. So we can see on the example here, the same page I'm on, here is the form. We don't see the I am a robot check here until I click into the form, and then it loads down here. So there are a few other areas on the platform where we can utilize this same logic, only load the JavaScript after it's requested, and that's going to increase some of the page speed score points a little higher, as well as improve the overall load times of the pages as well. That's a good little speed update there. This one I'm a huge fan of as well. If you have the Easy Coupon Codes add-on, you know that you can have promo codes on your sign up and checkout pages. However, there are cases when you may have the add-on, but you don't want to display the promo code input on certain sign-up pages. It kind of leads the potential member to think that sometimes there are no promo codes, but they think there is a promo code, and that can slow down or hinder sign-up. They're going to go hunting for a promo code, even though there isn't one for that membership plan. So let me show you where this new setting is and how it works. So first things first, let's actually look at a paid membership plan as the sign up page for a paid membership plan. we can go to this sample one here. It's a paid account. All right, so this is what we're used to seeing here. They have a promo code and the order summary on a paid membership plan sign up if you have the easy coupon codes add-on on your site. So what you can do now, there's actually several settings related to this. So let's edit the membership plan. And also in the first tab here, if you scroll down when the account type is paid, and it's going to be right here at the bottom of the sign up page settings, right next to the URL of the sign up page. So here's the setting box here, show order summary on sign up form. So there's two modules being shown here. One is the order summary. We're seeing that on the right. The second is the promo code input field, currently here on the left. So the first thing we can do is we can choose the position of the promo code input field. Do we want it on the left, the right, or do we not want to display it all together? So left or right usually probably doesn't matter. That's subjective, but in the cases where you don't want the promo code input field to display at all on a sign up page, you can just click on do not display. I'll go ahead and save those changes. And we'll refresh this page. And we can see here now we're just left with the order summary. And you'll sometimes want to do this when there are no promo codes for a plan and you don't want to lead the prospective member on that they should be hunting or searching the internet for a promo code for your site. In addition to this, you can hide the order summary altogether. If you have simple sign up pricing, if it's flat rates and things like that, there's no tax, there's no subtotals, there's no discounts. Potentially, you don't need to show the order summary field as well if nothing is being calculated on top of the plan they're picking right here in these radio selects. Even better with this, these are for the sign up pages, everything I just showed and shared. You can also have those same settings on the upgrade pages. So when a member is in their member dashboard, if you give them the option to upgrade or change their plan to another plan, the same settings are here. Show order summary, yes or no, and then the position of the promo code input field. So you get really granular control of this for both sign up and upgrade pages. Overall, in the last 2 weeks since the last webinar, we've had just about over 40 updates, fixes, and new features released on the platform. Big shout out to you guys, the BD community, for all your suggestions and feedback for things we should be adding into the platform. So thank you so much, guys, for that. And wait, we're not done. There are a few more items I wanted to mention that are coming soon. Additional Zapier hooks. We'll cover the ones that are available today in the phase 1, but in phase 2 and 3 and 4, exporting your member smart lists, member data, your posts, and then the final frontier for Zapier hooks is pulling data into your BD site from third-party sources. So if you have a third-party form somewhere and you want to send that into your BD site as lead data, member leads, you'll soon be able to do that kind of stuff. More speed updates. We're going to be doing more lazy loading of images, specifically on the search results pages. Google Maps JavaScript, that's pretty heavy JavaScript that's going to only load when it's required, and several other tools as well. And I always like to mention this one, some of our year-end goals. By the way, guys, wow, we are just about into December now. It's been quite a year. So big round of applause for everyone in the BD family. It's been a great year. We're definitely looking forward to 2022. So, we always like to say here, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. So here are some year-end goals from us. They'll probably spill over into 2022, but these are some things that are top of mind for us here in the BD Labs. And with that, what we'll do is we will move on to the tip of the week. And so originally we were going to cover creating your first Google ad campaign for your BD site, but upon the release of the Zapier integrations that are now available, we thought we'll cover the ads in another webinar. And in this one, we can cover some of the basic implementation options for Zapier. So what we hear a lot is people email our support team and they say, when my members sign up, I want to send that data to Mailchimp or to Constant Contact. Or when people fill out my newsletter subscription form, I want that email to be sent to another platform. So now that kind of stuff is able to be accomplished within the BD platform. And David, you've put together a few helpful slides to help everyone wrap their heads around what Zapier is, some use cases, and then also we want to show you an example of how to sync your BD website to Mailchimp as well in this tip of the week. So if it's okay with you, David, I'll pass it over.
Absolutely. So like Jason mentioned in our updates, we recently released our phase 1 Zapier integration. And for the most part, the primary request that we've been receiving with regards to Zapier is a lot of you wanting to utilize Mailchimp to manage your newsletter subscriptions and manage your emails out to your existing members, people who just visit your website and sign up for your newsletter, things like that. So we thought, because going over the Zapier integration as an overview at a general level is relatively basic, we thought in addition we'd also dive in to Mailchimp and show you how to actually set up an integration with Mailchimp and your BD site. So before we get into that, let's go over exactly what Zapier is, our current integration with it, what will be coming in the future, some use cases, and then we'll dive into the how-to. So what we've released now is the phase 1 Zapier integration. And what this allows you to do is send data from your Brilliant Directories website's forms out to third-party platforms by way of Zapier. So this includes your member sign-up forms, newsletter sign-up forms, your contact form, when website visitors submit leads on your website, member review submissions, as well as any custom forms that you might have on your website. So all of this data that you're bringing in anytime these forms are submitted on your website, you'll be able to take that data and send it out to any of Zapier's 3,000 plus integrations. That's what you can do right now. In the future, phase 2, you'll actually be able to bring data in to your Brilliant Directories website from third-party platforms by way of Zapier. So right now you can send data out from your site to third-party services. In the future, you'll be able to actually bring data into your website. And some use cases for using Zapier with your Brilliant Directories website. The first one would simply be to integrate your Brilliant Directories website with third-party apps and services that you're already using. For example, Mailchimp. You can cooperatively use your Brilliant Directories website with these third-party apps that you already have integrated with your daily workflow. So, for example, Mailchimp. Maybe you're manually updating your contact list within Mailchimp once a day, once a week. Anytime you get new newsletter subscribers or new member signups, you're manually taking those emails and adding them to your Mailchimp contact list. Well, with this new Zapier integration, that contact list will be able to automatically be updated. So you won't need to manually update it anymore. So that's one use case. Another one would be to integrate with third-party apps that have more robust features than Brilliant Directories does. So BD, it's a great all-in-one solution, but it is an all-in-one solution. There's a lot of other third-party platforms, applications, services like Mailchimp that offer specialized features in order to meet specific objectives. So Mailchimp is a great platform specifically designed for sending out newsletters and managing contact lists. So you can use your BD website's data with those services. And like I mentioned, the contact list within Mailchimp or any other application you might be using, that will now be able to automatically be updated. So you won't need to manually transfer any data over. A third use case would be to simply store your website's data in more places. For example, if you have some fields within some forms on your website that you want to easily be accessible, then you can have that data be sent over to a spreadsheet that you can access within Google Sheets. And that spreadsheet will automatically be updated with data that's been submitted into any of your forms. And so, sometimes it might be easier to just go into Google Sheets real quickly. Maybe if you're on your phone, away from the computer, and you can quickly see maybe if somebody's subscribed to your newsletter, if somebody submitted a contact form, something like that. Some other examples might be maybe you want to integrate with QuickBooks or Salesforce, or again, Zapier has 3,000 plus other integrations. So there's really a lot of possibilities when it comes to the Zapier integration here.
Yeah, I think the key here is no matter what your workflow is, this kind of opens up more opportunities to work more efficiently and streamline some of your internal processes that you use to run your online membership community. So definitely, we're going to see how more and more people are using this as time goes by. So we thought, yeah, since the most common request we've heard and more recently and in the past was, how do I send my BD data to Mailchimp? People who sign up to my site, I just want that data to be sent automatically to Mailchimp. So we wanted to run you through the workflow of how to set this up, kind of open the door for you guys who may not even be familiar with Zapier or the need to send data to third-party applications. This will kind of show you a quick tutorial of how this works. And so first things first, let's go to our dashboard here and let's open up our tools here. We created a free Mailchimp account today. You can have up to 2,000 contacts for free in Mailchimp, and we have our Zapier account, which is the tool that lets you sync two different applications together. Or we can even see here, you can sync multiple applications together. You can sync a hook from your BD site into Excel and also sending a Gmail email at the same time. So pretty powerful stuff here. In this example, what we can do is we can create a webhook or a connection between our sign-up forms, new member signups, and sending that data into Mailchimp. So the Zapier settings are under the webhooks area in Developer Hub. So it's in the Developer Hub section under webhooks. And here, if there are no actions here, it means that these are all default system defaults. When there are actions here on the left-hand side, these are events for your custom form. So as David mentioned, you can create webhook events, basically integration events for your member reviews, contact us form, newsletter signups, lead submission, paid and free member signups. And you can see here I've created I've enabled some of those webhooks here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these, and we'll start from scratch here together. And I'll go ahead and just save this page so everything is empty. First things first, we can go into Zapier and we can go to our Zaps. And actually what we'll do is we'll create a new Zap. And what we're going to be doing in this process is connecting your Brilliant Directories form submission. So when someone signs up, that's a form submitted for like a free or paid sign up. And we're going to be telling it to sync to another app, in this case, Mailchimp. So what we want to look for the app event is going to be called Webhooks by Zapier. And the trigger event, this one confused me a bit, but just remember this, Captain Hook, all we want to do is catch hook, the middle one. It's an easy way. We don't need the raw hook. We don't need to retrieve pull. We just want to catch hook. So just remember Peter Pan, Captain Hook, catch hook, and click on continue. No, it sounds silly, but so this will be a custom webhook URL. We want to copy this. And what's really cool, and I discovered today, you don't have to, but actually you can use the same webhook URL, the one that I just copied, and use it for both the paid and free signups. You could have a different one if you need to, but actually you could just use the same one for both. So what I've done is I'm in the webhook section of the Developer Hub, and I'm going to copy and paste that URL here into the webhook link, and I clicked on enable, and I'm going to hit save changes here. So we're going to continue through the process, and I've copied that. You don't need to do anything else, just click on continue. Okay, now it wants us to test the trigger, basically do a test form submission, and then it's going to tell us the data that it found, what Zapier found. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the free sign up form. I'll sign up as a general user, and we'll see if the connection with Zapier is made now that I've saved that link in the Developer Hub. So let's do this here. I'll do Jason, and I'll put webinar, and we'll do webinar at webinar.com, and we'll go ahead and save the changes. So they want you to conduct a test. So I've done a test now, the form is submitted, and we're gonna go back to Zapier and we're gonna click test trigger. It's gonna see if it collected anything. And it did collect it. It knows the subscription ID is 5. It knows the form that was filled out. It was the sign up free form. It has my IP, it has my first name and last name, my email. Any other custom fields you add to these forms, they will be sent into Zapier. So if here you're gonna add phone number field, who referred you field, all that, any custom fields you want on any of the forms, sign up form, contact us form, newsletter form, all that field data is going to be sent into Zapier. So we know that now that Zapier is receiving the data from the form submission. We can go ahead and click continue. Okay, this is the magic part. So now that Zapier is successfully receiving the form submissions, they're going to say, okay, what do you want us to do? Where else do you want us to send this data? And as David mentioned, they have 3,000 plus integrations. We'll keep it simple, and we want to send this to our Mailchimp account. We want to send this user's information and add them to our Mailchimp account. They're going to ask you to connect your sync your Mailchimp account first to give it access, and we've done that. So we'll go ahead. We've selected Mailchimp. Choose an event. We want to add or update a subscriber, and we'll click on continue. So this is where they want you to choose your Mailchimp account. Mailchimp More Inks. It's just a test account we created, and we're just going to follow through the steps here on how they want us to connect to the Mailchimp account. So now we're going to sync data together. So More Ink, this is just a test account that we made in Mailchimp. That's the name of our Mailchimp account. And the subscriber's email. So this is where we're going to start mapping stuff. So email is the email field for Mailchimp. And double opt-in, we don't need to do that in this case. We're going to put false. That means do you require the user to do a double opt-in. Update existing value, that's fine. And groups, I don't think you need to do anything for groups. I think you could just do add only. These are just some Mailchimp settings. And what's really cool here is you can, if you set up tags in Mailchimp, which we'll check out in just a second, based on the form that's submitted, you can choose a tag to assign. So I did create a tag called contact form, and it would tag them in Mailchimp as someone who filled out the contact form. Here you can also map their first name that was filled out, Jason Webinar I put, and last name, and any other custom fields you have. You're basically saying, Mailchimp, this is the field for first name, this is the field for last name, and so on. And I think there is one for phone number, birthday, so just depending on things that you're collecting. Plan ID, I created a custom field in Mailchimp called, instead of first name, last name in Mailchimp, I added something called Plan ID, and I want to sync that here. If I search for subscription ID is going to be what Plan ID is in Mailchimp. We're going to see how all this works, and I'll just go ahead and save the changes. So I mapped what your BD data should line up to going into Mailchimp, and I'll click continue. And just kind of showing you a preview of what things would look like. Not everything is required. That's why I left all these things empty. And we'll do a test and review. Okay, a subscriber was sent to Mailchimp. So it did send this data to Mailchimp. Let's go into our Mailchimp account and see if we can find Jason Webinar inside of Mailchimp. So we'll click on Audience and All Contacts. Now we're inside Mailchimp. And here we can see webinar at webinar.com, Jason Webinar. It has my plan ID. I know that's the subscription ID. The membership plan ID is 5. And yep, that person is here in Mailchimp now. So we've done a few cool things. You can create segments in Mailchimp. You could create tags in Mailchimp. So let me go to the audience section. And what I did do is under all contacts, let me slow down a bit. So under all contacts, under settings, you can add custom fields that you want to add for your members. So obviously we know first name, last name, phone number, but what I did do is I did go to settings, audience fields, and I'm sure all platforms allow you to create custom fields. So there's email, first name, address, phone number. These are all default fields. I did create a new field called Plan ID number. And that is why when I was doing the Zap connections, I synced the subscription ID to the Plan ID number field. So we are saving the sign up plan IDs into Mailchimp because I created this field. All I did was I clicked add new field. I created a number field because I want it to be an integer. And it's going to ask me to put the details here. So here's my number field. I can call it whatever I want. I just needed something so I can save the subscription ID during sign up form submissions. So you can call it whatever you want, and just make sure, because the subscription ID is sent over when someone signs up to your site. So you just want to map that with this custom field that you create in Mailchimp. So I would just map the subscription ID that's submitted with the form to the subscription ID number field in Mailchimp, and then I can create segments and things like that now that I've stored this in Mailchimp. So we basically created a corresponding field in Mailchimp that I can connect the subscription plan ID that's being sent with the signups from Brilliant Directories. We did create a segment. Basically, this is like their version of Smart Lists with BD sites. So what we could do is we could create a segment. And if we go back here to the membership plan settings, so the general user account was plan ID 5. And as you remember, we're sending that data into Mailchimp. So we know that this new contact is plan ID 5. So what we're going to do in Mailchimp is create a new segment, Smart List basically. If the plan ID number is 5, and let's preview, that's all the conditions we're doing. So there's one person, webinar at webinar.com. I'm going to save this, and we're going to say these are general users, general user accounts, and we'll save the changes. So now we have a segment for general user accounts, and of course, when we create these, we could choose to send newsletters to these segments specifically from within Mailchimp. So Mailchimp allows you to basically group people in different ways. You can create segments, you can assign tags, and then they have something called groups as well. More or less, they're all doing the same thing. You're tagging members to be associated with certain groups within Mailchimp, and then you can select them when you're sending your newsletters. Now, David, I know I went a little quick there. Did I overlook anything in that quick overview?
I think that pretty much covers it. Maybe if we want to discuss how you can know not just which membership plan they're within, but if they've, for example, submitted the contact form.
Absolutely. Let's create a new Zap for people submitting the Contact Us form on the website. This is the Contact Us form right here. So this is your general Contact Us form. So name, email, phone number. So when the email matches, it should also tag that. But we can create a tag that a person is also a member and has filled out a Contact Us form. So what we should do is create a new Zap for that logic. So what we could do is create a Zap. I'm going to go through this twice just so everyone can get the hang of it. So what we're going to search for is Webhooks by Zapier, and the middle one, Catch Hook, and continue. And we're going to copy this URL, Webhook URL. We're going to copy this, and this one we're going to put this for the Webhook event, the Contact Us form. I'll paste it here and enable it and save my changes. Now that that's there, I will continue. And it wants us to test our trigger, so we're going to submit the form. And what I'd like to do is submit it with the same email address. This one, webinar@webinars.com. Where do I have it here? Here it is, webinar@webinar.com, just to test there. So I'll put my name here, Jason Webinar, and email address. Let's put Jason there, and I'll put my phone number. And this is my message, and go ahead and submit this. Great, your message has been sent. Let's go back to Zapier and see if it got that information. Perfect, it knows the form name submitted was contact form. The email was webinar@webinar.com. It even got the phone number and my comment, which is this is my message. And we'll go ahead and continue here. And what do we want to do? Do we want to send this to Constant Contact? It would follow the same model. In this case, we'll do Mailchimp and update or add a subscriber. And we're going to choose our test account and continue. And I guess the audience is kind of like the test account. So now we're going to map, okay, what's the email address field that should be mapped in Mailchimp. So if you don't see the field here, in this case, we're not seeing the email field, you can click show all options. And if we scroll down, we see inquiry email, webinar@webinar.com. So that's mapped. Don't think we need to even choose this one. Update existing. Yeah, we can update the existing contact. And we can assign a tag here. These are people who filled out the contact form. You can assign multiple tags if you needed to, not just one. And we can also update the first name field and more. In this case, we did grab a phone number actually. That form had a phone number field, so I can add that there. And I'll go ahead and click continue. Okay, this is what it's going to map to Mailchimp. And these are the fields that it's not going to update in Mailchimp. They're left empty. We'll do a test and review. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into Mailchimp and see if the tag was added, the tag contact form for this person. So if we go to all contacts, so we have webinar at webinar.com and his name is there. So now we see the phone number is here. I didn't add the phone number during the sign up, but I did add my phone number on the contact us form. And we see that it's associated the tag contact form to this existing person in Mailchimp as well. So through submitting two forms, the sign up form and also the contact us form, we've been able to successfully add and update a contact's information that is in Mailchimp. And as David was mentioning, we can create more specific segments if you're doing email marketing from Mailchimp. Let's create a new segment. And in this segment, we're going to want people who are of the plan ID 5. So plan ID number is 5. That's that general user ID on their BD site. And we're going to do all contacts must match all of the following conditions. And they have tags. Well, we only have one tag, but so they have the tag contact form. So they have to be a general user and they have to have submitted a contact form. And we can preview this segment. Obviously, we know there's only one person here that meets this criteria, and we'll save the segment. So this will be general users who also build out contact form. Now, you might be doing applications, contests, online surveys, and you want to know which of your paid members also filled out your contest form. You could do this in BD because we know there's filters for forms submitted and forms not submitted that you could create from your members. But again, this is if you're using a third-party solution and you're sending data into things like Mailchimp, these kind of tools allow you to create smart lists or segments based on your goals or needs. So you can create these types of smart lists and then obviously schedule newsletters within Mailchimp to them. So now what we've done is we have created two different webhooks, one for signups and one for the contact us form. You can, of course, continue this process and send all the data you need that's included with the form submission to third parties, in this example, Mailchimp. Now, David, fill me in. Did we miss anything here?
I think that covers it. It's a relatively simple process, and even for custom forms, you would basically follow the same process that we just did for the contact form.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it. I think the best thing to do would be maybe to take some questions. How are you, Colette?
Hi, Jason. I'm well. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How's everything there?
Very good, thanks. Jason, two questions for you. The first one is, will this have any impact on the automated emails that get sent when somebody signs up for the newsletter on BD?
Great question. That will continue to be sent when they fill out the newsletter on the BD site. If you want to disable that, you can turn that off in the form settings for your newsletter form on your BD site. However, this will not interrupt that setting this up.
Perfect. And then the second question is, do you have to have a paid Zapier account to do this?
Yes, I believe the Zapier is $29 per month. But I think if you're going to use this to improve your business operations for your members, it's well worth it. You just need the lowest paid plan that they have for this.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome. All right, good questions there. All right, Stephanie, looks like you're self-muted.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Stephanie?
Excellent. Good, good. Thank you. Quick question. In the future, is there any plans to be able to allow to push over the resume fields from the resume form?
Yes. So the Yes, there is actually, because so you're referring to the basic information as well as the listing details tab, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, yes. So coming down the line are these more internal forms. I know this is going to be high value when a user is filling out all this incredible information to send it out. So the short answer to your question is yes. It'll be probably in a month or so before the basic information and the listing details forms will be have options to be sent out to Zapier.
Excellent. And that includes any fields, custom fields that we would have added ourselves.
Yeah, so the cool part is, and yeah, so what we're seeing like here on this page, this is all what we can consider one form. So when you create that webhook, anything in this form is sent to Zapier, and then you choose which details you want to also be sent to your third-party solution.
Excellent. Excellent. That's great. Thanks, guys, for all that hard work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. All right, good stuff there. All right, we got our good friend Eric here. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. How'd you like the webinar so far today?
Oh, good. You guys are doing a lot. Always doing a lot.
All right, thank you. What's your question for us today?
So I had a question about sidebars. Part of my problem I'm running into is that I have some articles or posts that are longer than the majority of other posts, and the sidebar runs out rather quickly, and I have, just some ad space in there. So the first thing I did was I just put in some crude CSS into the additional CSS settings to make those sidebars sticky.
Right.
But because there's no specific ID to call out the sidebars, you can't target them individually. And so I didn't know if you might have another suggestion on.
I love this, Eric. I got this already. I know exactly what to do. So I think what the best compromise would be is when you're in your sidebar manager, is if you can pick one, mostly it'll be the last one usually, because you scroll down and then you want the last element to lock as you're scrolling down. Is that kind of what you have in mind?
It's either that, or I was trying to figure out if you could put some code into the details page code that would say, and then I don't know, I'm not good enough with coding to know what to tell it, but if the content is running longer than the sidebar, duplicate these pieces of the sidebar, or lazy load some more of them or something like that.
Right. That might be a little harder because there's just so many settings involved in that. Like here's our BD blog. We actually did have more things in the sidebar, but what happens is when the article is longer, we were always locking the last element. What I think a good compromise, and it works well because that's going to be your strongest call to action, right? That you want, what you want for the page. What I think would be a good compromise is a setting. So when you're in your sidebar, and this would be definitely doable. I'm trying to think what would be low-hanging fruit so we could deliver something, is a sidebar setting where you can lock the last module when scrolling. So lock last widget element when scrolling, and that will then lock it into place till the bottom of the area, or whatever the side of the article is, or any page, search results page, member profile page. It'll lock it, the last widget element when scrolling. That's simple to implement. We can create a setting for that, and I think that's going to add a lot of value because you can put your strongest call to action as the last element in your sidebar. Sometimes people put like an ad on the two things in the bottom and top, but I think this will be the best compromise to get something out quickly.
Yeah, because right now I target the COL-MD-4 CSS code, to try to make those stick there. So, but like I said, then it starts affecting other elements on the site that are of that same code. So like menu items, for example, it'll affect those. So anyways, I was just trying to see how I could match that when the content is out of sync with the sidebar or vice versa,
Now If you want to post this in the Facebook group, I can give you the CSS, so at least the last element
Okay.
in the sidebar is going to scroll. So whatever the last item is, it'll scroll. It'll stay sticky in your sidebar until we create such a setting. I'll notify the team and see what they think about this. But I think this is great because it's going to allow you to not have empty sidebars.
And can I ask I just am curious, is there any benefit to if you guys were to put an ID on the sidebar so that we could target them for other things?
It's an even better idea. Eric, I'm loving you today, buddy. Yeah, wrap sidebar elements in an ID, in an element ID, in an ID class. I like your idea to wrap sidebar elements in IDs before they render in the sidebar for targeting.
Thank you.
That's a valid suggestion there. Thank you, Eric. All right, good stuff there. Great suggestions there. Simple stuff for quality of life improvements. All right, and we got time here for Robert. Robert, take us away, buddy. How you doing?
Hi, Jason. I wanted to ask, now I did post this in the group as well, and I wanted to know if there's a way to put certain pages behind a paywall, or they have to be a certain level of member, like a search.
Absolutely. Let me show you how to do that. That's going to be with the download digital products add-on. Let me just get you the link for this. Pretty sure you have this on your site. So you want to basically protect a specific standalone web page. So it's for access to only certain people who have paid to access that page. So what you can do is, and it's the Sell Digital Downloads page, and I like it because there's a video on how this works. But in a nutshell, what you can do is go to your web page builder, and you can create a new page. And when you have this add-on, you can create a digital product, like whatever, access these private pages. So what you'll have is you'll have the option here when you're creating a static page, protect page, and you can only allow certain members of certain membership plans, or you can only allow digital product buyers if you want. So let's say they're not members, but they purchased access to this page because you have a paywall there. Here we had a digital product called How to Write an Ebook. So only people who have purchased this digital product would be able to access this static custom web page.
Yeah, and on the page I can put anything I want there, whatever I want to have them access to.
Anything you want. And let me save the changes here, and you'll see what people see just a second. So this is a protected page now. Only people who have purchased the digital product How to Write an Ebook. So if I go to view the page, it says you don't have access to view this page. Click for access, and it's going to take me to the ebook where I can purchase access to the page. So that's basically how it works in a nutshell. There's no additional coding or anything.
Right. Yeah, and so I can change that text label to like upgrade rather than you don't have access.
Precisely.
I can do that in the text labels. Yeah. Okay. Good. Precisely. Because yeah. All right. Thanks.
All right, yeah, no worries. Yeah, I would recommend watching the video on this page here that I shared. It's pretty, goes into detail about how to see your transaction history for digital products and things like that. And guys, with that, I want to thank everyone for joining this webinar. We do have something special. Ryan Sullivan is having the directory after party. I'm going to share another link here. You can just follow that link. You can continue the good energy there with Ryan in the directory after party. It'll be a great chance to mingle with fellow BD website owners and get to know and meet each other outside of the Facebook group. So if you have a few extra minutes after the webinar, definitely go to directoryafterparty.com and join in the fun there. And yeah, it was a great webinar today. Thank you guys for all your questions. If you have more questions that we didn't get to, please feel free to join the Facebook group, brilliantdirectories.com/Facebook, and ask your questions there. So on behalf of myself and David and the entire Brilliant Directories team, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We'll catch you guys in 2 weeks in the next webinar. Take care. Bye-bye.